Welcome to another edition of Inside PressBox, presented by Maryland Mutual Mortgage. I'm Stan the Fan Charles, bringing you the latest in the Baltimore sports scene. Today, we have two accomplished basketball coaches joining us, both from Johns Hopkins University. Women's coach Nancy Funk and men's coach Bill Nelson are both in their 25th season with the Blue Jays. We'll talk about how they've led their programs during the past quarter century and have accumulated more than 500 wins each coaching college basketball. But first, Baltimore Blast are sitting with an 11-3 record and are atop the five-team MISL. A large part of their success this year has come with the maturation of our first guest, midfielder Pat Healey, who leads the team with a career-high 43 points. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, I kiddingly said, what's the story? Are you on steroids? I mean, 2 years ago you scored 16 points. Last year you scored 18 points. And this year, with still 5 or 6 games left in the regular season, you've got 43 points. You've been eating your spinach?
Yeah, eating my Wheaties and all the good stuff. But I know, I'm just trying to figure out the game, and I think I finally have. Robbie Aristodeme always told me, 2.5 years, kind of you finally figure out the game, and I think that's what really did.
Now, is it figuring out how to play the angles more in the indoor game?
Just, not, being so anxious sometimes, ball going into the target maybe, or ball going off the wall, not just running by a guy, being patient, finding holes, getting the box, getting back pole, doing those things. Do
you find that, because it's interesting, my buddy Bruce Laird, who used to play for the Baltimore Colts, talks about the light bulb going off, the game slowing down a little bit, and I guess football's a very frenetic pace sometimes. Indoor soccer is very frenetic. So has the game slowed down to you?
I think it has slowed down, but it's a fast game.
Yeah.
You're kind of constantly adjusting on the fly. But things like being on the ball, free kicks, and just being aware of the surrounding things around you, it has slowed down a little bit, but still fast. You still got to react.
Now, what about this team right now? As we're taping this, you've got 2 games coming up this weekend. One will have been played by the time this airs Saturday night. You've got who coming in? You've got
Milwaukee on Sunday, but we have Omaha on Friday night.
Okay, that's the one that will have been taking place
yes,
already.
Omaha.
Tell us a little bit about the opposition in these 2 games.
They're a good team. They just had a hard-fought game on Wednesday, lost in overtime to Milwaukee. So we're getting them maybe a little tired, but we got to do our job. They got a lot of great players, a lot of veteran players, and new coach with Marcelo Fontana, who was a very good player in our game and knows a lot about the game from Keith Tozier. And
Milwaukee is kind of like the real rivalry. I mean, if you compare it to the Yankees, Red Sox, Steelers, Ravens, that's the Blast big team.
Without a doubt.
Why is that?
Just
because you're mirror images of each other?
I don't think we're mirror images. I think we both bring fire to the game, but we're always right there. We have to go through them to win a championship. And I think with the Ravens this year, with the Steelers, they had to go through them, or Steelers in the same way. We have to go through them every year, and it's just every game, turns into a fight. If it's on the field, or words after. Yeah,
because it's interesting. I look up the team's record preparing to interview you, and the team's 11-3 this year. And I look at the standings, and yet you're only a half a game in front of Milwaukee right now.
Yeah, we're half a game. We do have the 3-1 series against them, so we're really a game and a half. But it's right there. We have to win the game on Friday, and we got to beat them on Sunday to give us a little cushion. We would like to have a little cushion going into the end. Not, oh man, if we lose this game, we got to go through the championship through Milwaukee at their place.
Hey, I know your dad probably as well versed as anybody in the economics of indoor soccer. You play 20 games during the regular season. Is that, forget the money for a second, but is that enough games to stay sharp? Do you wish it were a 30-team schedule the way, a 30-game schedule the way it was?
I think it'd be nice to do that. Yeah. I think our veteran players would say no, maybe, but I think a little bit more games would benefit. Constantly playing the games. There's some weekends where we don't have games.
Right.
Or we just have one in a weekend. I'd like to have 2. I'm a player that I like to have back-to-back games. Yeah. I like to be out there. we lose Friday night, being able to win Saturday night. You know, constantly having games, but you know, it just gives more time for practice, more time for team bonding, and some hard practices, that's for sure.
All right, the Sunday game against Milwaukee starts at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
All right,
yep.
Best of luck to you
Thank
the rest of the season. Pat Healey, next time we have you on, we'll talk about your excitement about the 2011 Baltimore Orioles, all right?
Yep.
That's Pat Healey. Before we take a break, let's take a look at our photo of the week, brought to you by Yuengling Lager, a true American classic. Taste the quality that 180 years of family-owned and operated tradition brews into every single bottle. My partner John Colson at PressBox took this picture of Sports Boosters president Scott Eiscrow receiving a $3,000 check from PressBox, and attorney Michael A. Friedman, who purchased the winning block for the Sports Boosters, one of the winning charities of our 100-block charity pool around the Super Bowl. The other winning charities were Ronald McDonald House, Susan G. Komen, and Camp Sharesh. To read more about the Sports Boosters of Maryland, check out the article in our February issue or at PressBoxOnline.com. Fans of Johns Hopkins lacrosse got some good news this week with the announcement of the Cordish Lacrosse Center, which will break ground in June and should be completed by the end of the 2012 season. CSNBaltimore.com's Todd McElwee recently sat down with Hopkins men's lacrosse coach Dave Pietramala to get his thoughts on the coming season. Read that interview and more college lacrosse news at CSNBaltimore.com.